Ooh, I told those OpTic boys I was going to keep on pulling content. It's because every time they talk, they bring up a heater of a moment. One we actually talked about just in this past week, that being Hastro. Of course, the CGO of Team Envy calling out someone like Nadeshot and 100 Thieves for being a hoodie selling organization. We talked about that. Ocelot or Carlos from G2 also responding. It was probably one of the most talked about stories we had in the entire week because it was such a great talking point to see all of these esports organizations focusing on winning championships, bringing home trophies, selling merch and apparel or content as well, and so many organizations taking different paths. And now in actually an NRG Duo podcast with both Hex and Andy Miller and OpTic Roger, it's them talking about Hastro's tweet and Hex himself going on to say a word that I can't say, but in a much cooler way. He says, "Mind your frickin' business, Hastro." And I don't need to clarify this, but they're obviously friends, they're homies. There's no real beef here, but it's cool to see a response from Hex, as he has always been a proponent of content, as well as, merch sales doing very well, and they will for NRG and OpTic going forward. He has always been on the side leaning towards Nadeshot of content also brings you other successes.
The reason that we brought Roger on was because we wanted to talk about content, the importance of content, etc., etc., etc. Because there's been a lot of movement going on, and I've always preached the importance of creating content, right? I know that some people would rather, how did Hastro put it? He would rather win championships
than sell hoodies.
Yeah, than sell hoodies, which is to me look, okay. I love Stroll, but here's my opinion on that. Like, mind your fucking business. You know what I'm saying? Just mind your business.
You run your business.
Let somebody else run their business. Maybe. Go ahead.
I will say I think it's hilarious that they played each other in the finals, Envy versus 100T in the Valorant finals yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That like 100 Thieves was still like
Envy crushed them.
I think I want to say Envy won, but I still find that hilarious that like they're still a very competitive team, even though he's like trying to take shots at them.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
That like 100 Thieves was still like
Envy crushed them.
I think I want to say Envy won, but I still find that hilarious that like they're still a very competitive team, even though he's like trying to take shots at them.
Yeah,
and like
yeah. Look, maybe I do too good of a job of teetering on the I'm not gonna get anyone mad, so I'm not gonna have an opinion on this or an opinion on that. But at times it gets a little bit old when you're just out there talking shit just to talk shit. I'm like, if your spiel is to win championships or whatever, like who the fuck cares? Like, let people do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. Companies, they're just going public, maybe, and there's money that comes into a space where there's lots of eyeballs, and then there's great executive teams like the one on this podcast, and then there's not great executive teams, and they don't execute. They don't do well. They don't have a plan. They don't have a vision. They can't get the job done. And I think we're going to see a lot of that. And I actually kind of feel like content's the middle of it, because a lot of people who come from the traditional sports world, and I guess I do kind of, but I've been doing this now for 5 years as well, they don't get it. And so if they don't understand content, I don't think you can be successful in esports. That's my TED Talk. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that more than anything, and again, whether people do it or not, other orgs or not, like none of my business. Continue down the path that you want to continue. Put your money where you want to put your money.
Your model.
Yeah, just but it is.
So I really think all of this sparked by Hastro has kind of put himself under some fire, right? Envy certainly has their teams, especially pertaining to Call of Duty, a rising Valorant roster. I think they had their struggles elsewhere. He really put himself out there in the crossfire for now a lot of top figures to respond. Nadeshot avoided response on this. I would say probably smartfully so. He's never been one to really ruffle feathers with a response. Carlos steps in because G2 is probably one of the most winning organizations out there, and now we have NRG co-CEO. NRG as a whole can probably, of course, respond on this, because especially with OpTic Gaming, formerly Huntsman, underneath their umbrella, they've been pushing out so much content across the entire organization. I imagine merch sales, especially pertaining to OpTic, are going to be killer going forward. And yes, they also bring home a lot of titles as an esports organization. And so that's why Hex goes on to say, and Andy Miller to agree, to each their own model, right? But certainly when it comes time for determining success out there as an esports and gaming organization, there are some teams who see it very differently than others, and it's been really cool to see and actually read into all of these responses. Envy, 100 Thieves. With that, NRG, OpTic Gaming, G2. Who else is to respond next? I don't know. There's tons of esports orgs who can sell merch and win titles. Can 100 Thieves keep themselves up there in those ranks, especially with the return to Call of Duty? We will see. But as of right now, Hex is responding to Hastro and says, mind your freaking business, let everyone do their own thing, and he doesn't like the pointless crap talk. I will tell you guys biasly, I like the crap talk because it's really fun to talk about that said crap talk. What do you guys think about this one? Until next time, you know what to do, all right? I'll hold it up, you down it, and I'll see you back here sometime soon. Take care.